A 2023 study published in Nature Communications found that adults over 50 who make even two of the mistakes in this video have a 40% higher risk of developing dementia within the next decade. 2. Not 7. 2. Most people over 50 already know that sleep matters. What they do not know is which specific habits are silently degrading brain tissue every single night. One of these 7 mistakes is directly linked to the early accumulation of Alzheimer's proteins in the brain, and it has nothing to do with what you eat or drink before bed. I will tell you exactly which one before this video ends. Mistake 1. Irregular sleep timing. Your brain runs on a 24-hour internal clock called the circadian rhythm. After 50, this clock becomes significantly more sensitive to disruption. When you go to bed at 11 one night and 1 in the morning the next, the clock does not average the difference out, it resets, and every reset costs you. A 2022 study from the University of California, San Diego tracked sleep timing in adults aged 55 to 80 over 2 years. Those with irregular sleep schedules showed a 33% faster rate of cognitive decline compared to those who kept consistent bedtimes. 33%. From timing alone, before you even consider what you eat, how long you sleep, or what medications you take. The brain consolidates memory during deep sleep. But that consolidation only happens at specific windows in the sleep cycle, and those windows are governed by your circadian rhythm. Irregular timing shifts those windows every night. You sleep the same number of hours, but your brain processes a fraction of what it should. Therefore, sleep timing matters more than sleep duration for brain health after 50. And mistake 2 makes everything worse the moment the temperature in your bedroom crosses a specific number. Mistake 2. Sleeping in a room above 68 degrees. The brain cannot enter deep sleep without a drop in core body temperature. This is not preference or comfort, it is biology. Your hypothalamus triggers the transition into slow-wave sleep only when it detects that your body is actively cooling down. Most American adults sleep in rooms between 70 and 74 degrees. That 2 to 6 degree difference from the optimal range is enough to cut deep sleep time by up to 20% in adults over 50, according to research from the National Sleep Foundation. After 50, slow-wave sleep duration already declines naturally by roughly 2% per year as a function of aging. Sleeping in a warm room accelerates that decline on top of the natural one. And slow-wave sleep is exactly when the brain activates its waste clearance system. Less of it means less cleaning. The target is between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Not 60, not 70. That narrow window is where brain recovery happens most efficiently. But the temperature mistake affects the room. Mistake 3 is what many people over 50 do directly to themselves each night, believing it is actually helping them sleep. Mistake 3. Using alcohol as a sleep aid. Roughly 30% of adults over 60 report using alcohol regularly to fall asleep faster. It works for that purpose. The problem is what happens 60 to 90 minutes after sleep begins. Alcohol suppresses REM sleep in the first half of the night. As it metabolizes, the brain rebounds into a lighter, more fragmented sleep state in the second half. A 2021 study found that even one drink consumed within 3 hours of bedtime reduced total REM sleep by 24% that night. REM sleep is where emotional memory processing occurs. It is also when the brain replays and reinforces newly learned information from the day. Adults who chronically skip REM sleep show faster memory degradation and significantly higher rates of anxiety and depression, independent of alcohol's other known effects on the brain. You fall asleep faster, you recover less. Every night you use alcohol this way, you are trading comfort in the first hour for impaired brain function across the entire night. Therefore, if you currently rely on alcohol to fall asleep, you are also making mistake 4 more damaging than it would be on its own. Mistake 4. Screen use in the hour before bed. Melatonin production begins declining naturally after the age of 40. By 60, the average adult produces roughly half the melatonin they produced at 20. The screens on your phone, tablet, and television emit blue light wavelengths that suppress whatever melatonin production remains. A Harvard Medical School study found that 2 hours of blue light exposure in the evening suppressed melatonin for up to 3 hours after the light source was turned off. That means someone scrolling a phone until 10:30 at night is still hormonally in a wakeful state at 1:30 in the morning, even if they feel tired and fall asleep. After 50, the melatonin suppression from blue light is more severe because the baseline is already lower. There is no buffer. 1 hour of screen use before bed is enough to shift sleep onset by 45 minutes to 1 hour in this age group and to reduce total melatonin-driven sleep depth across the night. The fix is not dimming the screen, it is turning it off. 60 minutes before bed, screens off completely. That one change can restore sleep onset to normal within 3 nights for most adults over 50. But the next mistake operates in the afternoon, and most people who make it have no idea it is connected to how they sleep at night. Mistake 5. Napping after 3 in the afternoon. Naps are not the problem. The timing of naps is. Throughout the day, the body builds up a chemical called adenosine, which accumulates in the brain and creates sleep pressure. Sleep pressure is the biological force that makes you feel genuinely tired at night. When you nap late in the afternoon, you clear enough adenosine to significantly reduce that pressure before bedtime arrives. Studies on adults over 60 show that naps taken after 3 in the afternoon delay sleep onset by an average of 47 minutes and reduce slow-wave sleep duration by up to 30% that same night. A nap taken before 2 in the afternoon and kept under 30 minutes does not meaningfully disrupt nighttime sleep architecture in most adults. After 3, or longer than 30 minutes, and you are borrowing recovery from the night to pay for the afternoon, the debt compounds. This connects directly to mistake 6, which operates on a time scale of years rather than a single night, and whose damage is invisible until it is already significant. Mistake 6. Consistently sleeping fewer than 7 hours. The glymphatic system is the brain's dedicated waste clearance network. It operates almost exclusively during sleep, specifically during slow-wave sleep, and its primary function is to flush metabolic waste products out of brain tissue. Those waste products include beta amyloid, the protein that accumulates in the brains of people with Alzheimer's disease. A landmark study published in the journal Science found that beta amyloid clearance is 50 to 60% lower in adults sleeping fewer than 7 hours compared to those sleeping 7 to 9. That is not a marginal difference. 50 to 60% less waste clearance every night while the brain continues producing that protein at its normal rate. Adults over 50 who consistently sleep fewer than 7 hours show measurable cognitive decline on standardized memory tests within 5 years. The damage is cumulative and silent. You do not feel the deficit accumulating until it is already large enough to affect daily function. 7 hours is the floor, not the ceiling. The goal is 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep, which requires correcting every mistake in this video. But there is one more. This is the mistake I mentioned at the beginning, the one directly connected to Alzheimer's protein accumulation in the brain. The one that has nothing to do with what you eat or drink, nothing to do with light or temperature, and nothing to do with how long you sleep. Mistake 7. Sleeping on your back. Sleeping on your back dramatically increases the risk of obstructive sleep apnea, a condition where the airway partially closes during sleep as the tongue and soft palate fall toward the throat. After 50, the muscles surrounding the airway lose tone as part of normal aging. Back sleeping removes the structural support that keeps those muscles from collapsing inward. Mild sleep apnea is frequently undiagnosed in this age group. The person wakes feeling adequately rested. But each apnea event, each micropause in breathing, triggers a cortisol release and a brief neurological arousal that fragments the sleep cycle. The glymphatic system shuts down during these arousals. Waste clearance stops, the night passes, and the brain has cleaned far less than it should have. A 2024 study from Johns Hopkins University found that adults with untreated mild sleep apnea showed beta amyloid accumulation rates in the brain comparable to adults with diagnosed early-stage Alzheimer's disease. Not elevated, comparable. The connection between airway obstruction during sleep and Alzheimer's protein buildup is no longer theoretical. It is structural and measurable. The most effective first intervention requires no equipment and no prescription. Side sleeping, specifically left side sleeping, keeps the airway mechanically open and enhances glymphatic flow. Research published in the Journal of Neuroscience shows that the glymphatic system clears waste at a measurably higher rate during left side sleep than during back or stomach sleep. Tonight, before you fall asleep, turn to your left side. That single position change activates the brain's cleaning system in a way that back sleeping physically cannot.